All right, so this was a piece that I originally did again for my art group that is called High Contrast of ATL. And basically, they have this scroll that everybody comes and draws on, and they chose Street Fighter as the topic for this particular Tuesday night. And I thought it was great, and I had to jump in on it. So, being a Street Fighter player myself, and I don't play it as often as I'd like. This is Street Fighter 6, but I own all the games. Um, Ryu is my number one player. That's like my number one dude. So I decided to go ahead and obviously draw Ryu. I always say the name wrong. I always say Ryu. It's Ryu. And I went ahead and decided to go ahead and do a dope Ryu, or to the dopest of my ability, by doing a very small amount of referencing and, of course, initiating as much of the imaginary process into the mix as possible. I really feel like the original piece could have come out better on the scroll. I never even actually finished it. There was a part of the headband that I never finished. So anyways, enough of that. But so on to what's actually going on here on the screen. You can see that I'm obviously working in Photoshop. I have some particular brushes that I favor more than others. Although I've learned as a longtime Photoshop user that it's not necessarily as much about the brush as people want to make it out to be. Using a particular brush can be helpful, especially for a specific look to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, it's still all the same meat and potatoes when it comes into art foundation, whereas, you're going to be dealing with soft and hard edges in painting, and that's really what makes a painting what it is, regardless of the brush that you use, assuming that it doesn't have a very particular texture to it. But some brushes, like what I'm using here, I'm using a legacy chalk brush. That's probably from around the Photoshop, probably around I want to say Photoshop 7 era. That's when I started using it, at least. It could be older than that, but this particular brush goes back as far as Photoshop 7, and it's a default chalk brush that I use at various settings. So that means that there's no particular setting for it. It's whatever the image might need at that moment. And this is really a do-it-all brush for the most part. There are particular parameters to this, or at least so I've discovered. There's obviously only so much information I'm willing to give away before I'm probably going to get into a paid tier of things. Just because I've had to put so much time, energy, effort, everything and money into learning and developing these skills and understandings to all these things. Anyways, this brush in particular is what I've chosen to pretty much do this entire image with for the most part. Mind you, I never got a chance to do the sketching, filming part of this video, where I actually resketched the piece that I drew on this scroll at this art group, which was originally done in color pencil. It was done in an indigo blue color pencil by Prismacolor, which I really like sketching with a lot. Gives like that old animator's lead kind of feel to it. And yeah, so you can see I'm working on the cape here a little bit, a lot of it, and then I'll go ahead and default into other things. I like also rotating my screen around, as you see, because it allows me to get certain leverage on things that I wouldn't necessarily so easily be able to get if I just stuck to the standard vertical screen always and didn't rotate my screen. So I'm constantly rotating my screen throughout the duration of the image. It's just the most comfortable way I found to paint and draw. I think that when I rough sketch, I actually keep a vertical screen the entire time until I really get into it. And then even in rough sketching, I'll go ahead and I'll start rotating my screen around. So I'm gonna basically break up different parts of this where I'm talking, and then other parts I'm just gonna speed it up because it's a 15-minute video and I don't want to bore y'all. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just set it to some music at this point, and yeah, you can go ahead and check out just how the image evolves a little bit, and then I'll get back maybe on some more narration. All right, enjoy. Alright, so you can see I'm just touching up on things, and a lot of progress has been made since the last time I appeared on here. Right now I'm working on the Hadouken Powerball, and that's going pretty good. Still working with the chalk brush. I'm pretty sure I worked the chalk brush this entire image, which is done in chalk. I don't recall really using any of the other brushes. I'm just zooming around right now, working, just all the little spots to bring things together, and working pretty rapidly. So I'm in the arm right now. That's going on pretty good with the skin tones. I want to try to get more of a variety with the cool and warms. So that's what you see me kind of working in right now. Trying to get the drapery right on Ryu's outfit. I feel like that's super important to have looking pretty proper. This is no reference, so I'm doing this from imagination, which I pride myself in. Could always be better, I guess, using reference, but it could always take longer too. So for what it is and what I'm doing, I felt pretty confident to just work the angles and do my thing. From all the drapery studies that I've studied in the past, including still lifes, including, recopying, well, not recopying, but copying master studies done by master artists, like Michelangelo and friends. So yeah, this is pretty much getting to a final close. I'm doing some of the tapered edges, and you can see that I'm working on the pants and stuff with the wrinkles. Nothing's really giving me too hard of a time because I'm not really having to go in and paint over a certain area too much. So I'm just kind of flowing, which is really nice. And this is the way that I really enjoy creating, is to go ahead and flow. Flow is super important in order to project the energy into the piece that's going to really show in the final. Right here is a huge change where I realized the cape wasn't working for me, and I want to go ahead and change the dynamics of the cape. It just had the wrong folds on the wrong bends, and now I feel like this works a million times better. Took a little break, thought about it, and then got back on it, and now I'm really going in hard, trying to figure out, all right, these are all my little ripple areas where I'm going to have all these little wrinkles and folds, and you know, this is where I'm going to put my shadows, this is where I'm going to put my highlights, to go ahead and make the thing come together as one and work in harmony. Definitely taking a few breaks here because you can see the pauses on the video. This is actually a long pause right here, and we're going to see, there we go, we're going to see now more face work, hand work, and that's coming along pretty good. The wrist wraps were a little bit of a mind boggle because I wasn't sure I was going to do all that wrinklage, but I started figuring it out because I just fell back on my value concepts of darker pushing things back and lighter pushing things forward. Here I do my classic head blow up to start detailing out my head. You saw the Hadouken ball get bright too. That's the classic color dodge layer that works wonders for lighting things. So little cheap digital trick, but it works really good and saves a lot of time. Right now I'm applying the light from the Hadouken onto the face, which it's nice to have the face next to the Hadouken while I'm painting the face. It makes it a lot easier to basically make those calculations. Again, I'm not working from reference, so you know, I'm just winging it. And yeah, now I'm getting into the headband, tightening up everything there. I think I use a little bit of the lasso tool at the top there to go ahead and tighten the headband end. There you go. And yeah, now I'm just bringing out more electricity, tightening up details in the face, hitting up these little rocks, kind of going back, evaluating certain areas in the image here and there, looking for drop shadows. Definitely reestablish, you know, lights in the areas that they need to be established in. And I'm just continuing the flow here. So I know this is super sped up, but this is the best way to watch it because it's just hours of footage, and it's not it to sit here and watch it slowly. If I were to do like an actual tutorial that I actually collected on, I would slow everything down, do it in real time, and basically narrate the whole thing as I go along. So that's going to be the difference between paid content and what I have here. But this is still good though. You can still learn a lot from this. There's still a lot to just understand with everything I've just included in this video, especially for beginners. So there's a lot of gems that I dropped here, and it'll definitely help you all for sure. So I do plan to put in some paid content, or put out some paid content, and that's going to be more or less the big stuff. Here's the final sketch image on the scroll where I didn't finish the headband. Here's the redraw, and then this is just getting right into some of the details of the finished piece. These are images I posted on Instagram, so you can see like the brushwork, you can see all the details and things, and this is the final. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have, you know, feel free to drop a comment. I'm going to have some more content as I get it made. It takes time to do all this stuff, so thank you so much.